Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's take a look. I want to take a peek at the person that is on our lead character's mind. What's going on with them? Two of Cups. We may have somebody who is, they're feeling the feels for sure with that Two of Cups. Hopefully, this is going to be one of those stories where we actually have two people on the same page instead of like pining or, distance. We have a Page of Swords, we have a Ten of Wands. Okay, they are spending considerable time doing some spying. And honestly, I think every time they like look at our picture, they feel better. We're going to say this is a divine masculine just based off of how many masculine energies we see on the cards. But please bear in mind, I do not read for genders. This could be same sex, could be reverse gender roles. But right now, what we see is a divine masculine who could be like and most people have social media now, so even if our character, even if she's never sent him a picture of herself, maybe they have a way to see a photo or something, or every time they think about her, every time they gather a little bit of info on her, every time they log online and take a look at some picture, it's like their heart feels better. They feel more secure about their emotions for her. They feel better about, like, I know she's really important to me. What is their next move toward her then? We've got a Six of Cups in the reverse, though. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, unfortunately, we do not see them swiftly making any move. This is, even though they're coming to this clarity, like, I know she is the one for me. I know how important she is to me. We share a very particular, very precious bond. By the way, she may have a particular like shampoo or something that she uses that he just loves the smell of. I could totally see him, like, notice how he's kind of like leaned toward, like he's going to kiss her on the forehead, but it just totally seems to me like he just loves, like the scent of her. She's holding flowers here. I wonder if she has like a very floral, I'm picturing like magnolia possibly. This actually looks more like baby's breath or something, a little bouquet of wildflowers, but they look like white, maybe jasmine. Those are little tiny white flowers, so I would go jasmine. Her name could also have a J in it, maybe like the name Jasmine, or somebody has like a floral. I don't know. I keep feeling like it's the scent, like this wonderful floral scent that he just adores. The problem here is, even though the feeling, the acknowledgement, like she's so special to me, this is my Two of Cups. And he wants to like come in as a knight on a white horse, even though that is amazing. And even though that is reassuring. And even though he actually feels fabulous knowing this. And the more he spies on her, the more he pays attention to her, the more he's checking her out online, the more he's looking at her photos, the more he's like, this is my person. However, we do not see him making a beeline for her. We see him saying, it's going to take me quite a while to come toward her. Why are you thinking it's going to take you quite a while to move toward her? Why? Four of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. He may be getting a tarot card reading about her. You notice that he's levitating all the cards here. He's trying to figure out, like, everything has to be aligned. Let me see what the best route is. Here's how I look at tarot cards. I am not a psychic. I wish I had that gift. I don't. I am a fictional storyteller. What I love about the way I choose to tell stories, why I do it, is because I love to see all the different possibilities for our characters, right? And I'm always cheering for our characters. I always want them to make the best choices. But what we as the audience get to do is we get to watch them play things out and see what road, if they take this road, how that might end. If they took that road, how might things go? As we all these different possibilities of actions and reactions. And we get to see characters play things out. And then we can kind of like go, okay, if I were that character, how would I have done it different? How would I choose to react differently to get a better outcome? That's how I look at my storytelling. And for him in this story, we see him using like tarot card for, let me see what could happen if I did X, Y, or Z. Let me contemplate what might be the outcome. Okay, what if I took this path and I did C, D, and E? Where might I end up? What different selection of actions might I take that will lead me to the greatest outcome? And I feel like he's literally either pulling cards or getting a tarot card reading because he's looking for some kind of guidance for himself. Not guidance necessarily, but like food for thought to figure out what route will, lead me through different outcomes. What actions should I be prepared to take? He's really, to his credit, he's giving us great thought. He does not just want to come rushing in at her and be like, hey, guess what? I know that you're my Two of Cups, and I'm really, I really want this to be like you to be mine. Love the smell of your shampoo, and you're the person that I want. He's not just coming in to say something that blunt. He's thinking about all the other components. What would happen if I said that? I'm hearing that song. If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? If I swore you were an angel, would you treat me like the devil tonight? If I were dying of thirst, would you let your love come and quench me? If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? I can't think who sings that song. It's like, I would say late 70s, early 80s. High Priestess. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what is going on in his noggin right now because she's a High Priestess. She has all of her own knowledge. She has all of her own wisdom. She has all of her own ideas about things. Also, you guys all know that I am very international on my channel. I always look for international decks and such, and I always look for anything else we can add into the story. And I feel like, well, obviously we're in London right now with this backdrop, right? And I happen to be half British myself. So, this is appealing to me for a variety of reasons, but mostly it's because I liked the clock tower, the bus, and the telephone booth. And I was like, oh, this is great inspiration for storytelling. But I'm going to add in the location also. She could come from the UK specifically. I don't know about him. I know this is a Western deck. So maybe one of the two of them is from the West. But I don't know why, but I feel like she's got an accent, or she comes from a different location than he does. It doesn't have to be England per se. I guess, I don't know. There's something here that I'm really paying attention to with her jewelry that makes me think that she is somebody who's born one place but raised in another. Something about her background. He may have lived and been raised in one area. She may have been born one place but raised in another. And she may speak a second language. I don't know, just as a side note here. Let's go back over to his tarot card pull and let's change decks. Let's go for something that has more interpretation. What was it that you were looking for? You were trying to figure out how to approach her. Six of Pentacles. He wants to know, how do I construct the perfect sentence to tell her how I feel? How do I say the right thing that will make her want to get on board? This is I want to build Noah's Ark with her. How do I find the right words? So really, he might be drafting. It may not be so much about, tarot cards as it is trying to figure out what will be more appealing to her and the way I would present the fact that I feel like she's my Two of Cups. We have the Death card here. This is somebody who is it's definitely all about his mind. Now, this is an interesting card because we see everything's going on under the surface, right? Here is the top of the card, and it just looks like, some cypress trees and, some rock outcroppings. Then underneath, there's all this pressure, and we have an ancestor, an elderly person here. And then here we have an alien. And I just wonder if this is not to say that he looks at her as an alien. But remember when I said she might speak a second language, she might have come from a different culture than he does, been born here, raised there. He may be wondering what's the best way to approach her for the respect so that her family will like me. Maybe her culture is alien to him, foreign to him. And he's like, how do I approach so that I don't cause distress? How do I approach so that I will be seen in a favorable light? He may be concerned not just about how will she receive me, but what things would I need to change and be mindful of to come in and be respectful, especially if she hails from a different cultural background than me. I love his sensitivity on this. The fact that he would think about her elders, the fact that he would think about her culture, the fact that he would consider, how do I approach so that her family will like me as well? What would I need to change about the way I would speak to her or treat her so that, her family will understand I'm trying to offer something that, like, I want to be in an equal and, balanced relationship. I have something of great value to offer her. I really mean this. It's nice to see that he's thinking so heavily about, how do I say this to her? And how do I make myself, how do I make myself appealing, like, to her family, or to, whomever he considers to be like her inner circle. But I definitely feel like her elders are important. I like the fact that he's considering the respect factor, wanting to make a good impression, wanting to make sure that the words that he says land the way he wants them to. So that's the part with, he's looking at the different ways he could approach something. That's why he's got the tarot cards out there. It's like, will her family like me? Let me think what might make them like me or dislike me. What things could I change? We have the Justice card. Okay, now it makes me wonder, did these two ever have a relationship in the past? Was there something already? Is there a concern, or does he have something in his past where he's like, oh man, I hope that that's not going to be a mark against me if, I haven't had a completely squeaky clean past. Great people make mistakes all the time. But this can be a card of legalities. It could be like, oh man, will somebody judge me for a mistake that I made in my past? Will her family judge me for a mistake I made in my past? By the way, he could be a Libra. And she could be a Virgo. She could be a Pisces. She could be a Cancerian. But he really is thinking heavily about how to approach with the utmost respect, with the most serious offer, and how to make sure that things don't get fouled up. With that Justice card, my one concern is, did you have a problem already with her? Was there something that had gone wrong? Is this you trying to get back into her world? We have the Sun sideways, and we do have the Five of Cups. This could be something that maybe either he's been delaying for 5 months already. He's wanted to talk to her and hasn't known what to say. Maybe they did have a problem 5 months ago. It's like every day he thinks he's going to reach out and then he doesn't. This could have gotten like amped up in the last 5 days. He keeps thinking, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to totally talk to her. I have to. He's thrilled and excited at the concept of talking to her, but also every day that passes, he's missing her. But I do think something must have gone wrong for him to not already be in communication when we can see he has all of these beautiful emotions for her. Do you perceive, character, that there was something that went wrong? Are you worried about, I don't know, we have a Queen of Wands, but this is a tip of the hat to Frida, the painter. And Frida's artwork is magnificent, of course, but she was injured in her real life, I think, like as a young teen. She was in a bus accident, I think, and a steel rod went through her kind of like chest hip area, and she had to have multiple surgeries and great pain. And so she spent a lot of time in bed and painting and enduring pain. And this card is kind of a tip of the hat to her. We see this woman, I can't show the whole thing because her chest is open and, she has like organs out and about, but here she's in bed painting. And we have all of this, like there's evidence of a wound, right? But also this very proud, very powerful individual. A Queen of Wands is our sexiest, most amazing queen, but he is seeing her as somebody who has been wounded. Now, is he the source of some of her grief? Is that the real sticking point here? Is that why he's spending so much care and he's thinking about, will her family hate me? And he's thinking, if I caused her grief and if she told them that I'm the source of her grief, and I know that I have caused her grief, even though I love her dearly, I will have to win over her whole family because they may hate me. How do you think you hurt her? How do you think, you still say she's the most incredible, most beautiful, and he's not trying to say like, oh, I totally demolished her self-confidence. No. He's like, nobody could demolish her confidence. She's amazing. I'm not giving myself so much pomp to say that I had the power to really, cause her pain, but something that I did was unfair. We have a 10 of swords. He walked away from her. Holy smokes. You left her? You broke up with her? Why? Here's the thing. She was like the 50-foot tall woman. She was like the one for him. Maybe she was too strong. Maybe she was like literally so amazing that he felt intimidated, but he broke up with her, even though she was like the most important person in his life. Ace of Wands. Okay, it was all about him. He's here trying to like remold himself, right? We have this, I always look at this as like a seed pod. And you know, some seeds can go into like that endospore where they if there's not enough like nutrient or it's not the right soil or something, you know, the seed can actually stay viable, but it puts this little hard shell around itself, and then for years. And then when, you know, the earth is more favorable, the season is right, then all of a sudden that seed can still like be prolific again. And I almost look at that as if he went into like endospore mode. He tucked himself away. He broke up with her, knowing she was amazing, knowing she was the most important person in his life. And then he went into seed pod mode, or in this case, he wanted to remold himself and then come back later. With that Ace of Wands, there was something that he wanted to do more than be with her, which was to like remold, reshape himself. So he's saying, I hurt her because I ended things with her, but it was because I had to go reshape myself. Okay. Did you accomplish that? I mean, I would assume so, since we see him saying, yeah, we have the star sideways. I definitely feel even here, he's like off planet, you know, hovering in the sky, the star being far away. I do feel like he intentionally withdrew completely from her life so he could do some profound healing. Like he may have set a goal for himself that I have got to reinvent myself. And he did. He distanced himself, even if he has kept tabs on her all this time. And I do feel like that. Or let's not forget that Page of Swords is here. He has kept tabs on her all this time, even though he is more aware than ever that, God, he just misses her smell. He misses being around her. He wants to come in and have this very beautiful, very like, you know, coming in on a white horse, you know, it's I want to be her hero kind of energy. But he was the exact opposite of a hero for her before, because obviously he did break it off with her, but he did that so he could go reinvent himself. All I can say is I understand why he's spending so much time right now trying to picture, how do I approach her? How do I approach her family? He's sitting here trying to like read tarot cards to figure out what to say, how to do this. She's already a high priestess. She probably is already aware that she senses his energy out there. She probably already knows that she's going to be hearing from him pretty soon. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.